Alberto Ñecco Tello is Executive Director of ProInversión, Peru's private investment promotion agency. It recently completed an international roadshow promoting a portfolio of 50 public-private partnership projects to help plug Peru's $160 billion infrastructure gap. How do you work with international partners to make investing in Peru a simple and efficient process?
We work very closely with investors. In the agency, we have a whole division that is entirely in charge of investors outreach and investor relations. We are the point of contact, I wouldn't even say the point of entrance for foreign investors that come into the country. We have a very friendly and supportive legal framework for investors to come in, and we have devoted professionals that develop a client relationship role with the investors and guide investors in their way into the country. Mostly investors for PPP or infrastructure projects, but also investors in general that just want to bring capital to Peru.
What makes Peru an attractive and secure destination for international investment?
Peru has very solid foundations for investments. One of our main strengths are our macroeconomic foundations. For the last 25 years, we have been able to keep high growth numbers at low inflation rates, which is hardly seen around the world. We have been blessed in that way. And that macroeconomic foundation is one of the best in Latin America, in the region, which should provide you with enough certainty regarding returns. And in terms of the legislation or the regulatory framework for this, it is very important to highlight that according to the Constitution of Peru, local and foreign investments must be treated equally. So there is no discriminatory treatment between the two. Also, there is no capital controls or regulation regarding inflow or outflow of capital. So it's a very friendly environment and it's a very open economy for foreign investors.
What range of investment horizons are in your portfolio? And you mentioned returns. What kind of returns can investors expect?
Well, since our portfolio are mostly PPP projects, our horizons are mostly in the range of 20 to 30-year contracts. And in terms of return, they're usually market returns. I could not really pin a number because it will depend on the industry and how regulated it is and the amount of competition, and financial models are kind of proprietary for each one of the bidders. But I would say they must be very decent because we have an increasing competition for each one of our projects.
What other questions have you been addressing on your roadshow? What are the top 3 things that investors want to know?
Well, investors are usually concerned about political risk. And for somebody that does not know the country, it is a fair concern. It's important to highlight that for the last 25 years, regardless of the ruling party, we have maintained a very stable and sound macroeconomic policy and economic policy, an open economy, a liberal economy, market-oriented. And in that sense, I guess it's just about getting to know the political risk and getting to know the country. There are also questions around what kind of portfolio do we bring to the table. And I think that's very interesting because Peru has one of the longest and oldest PPP programs in Latin America and one of the broadest. I mean, we cover all sectors in the economy. We work in PPPs for transports, education, health, irrigation, and we even do mining concessions. So we have a very wide portfolio of investments to offer, and I guess that should also be very appealing for investment funds or investors looking for diversification in their portfolio. And I would lastly say there is always a question around the capacity of the government to deal with private investors and private counterparty. And as I just said, Peru has a very long-standing PPP tradition. So there are a lot of PPPs already working. In Peru, Spanish companies have been present for quite a long time now, and they are actively and they're already operating projects in highways, infrastructure, in water and sanitation, etc. So although that's an ongoing concern, and I think the government and the agency were still working on continuously strengthening our capacity to deal with private counterparts. We have the experience and we have the work done, so we are pretty much prepared to offer a stable and hopefully fruitful relationship.
Alberto, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're running our own roadshow with ProInversión. On European CEO, you can learn more about the projects in the agency's portfolio, while on the new economy, we're discussing ProInversión's sustainability. Go to proinversión.gob.pe to find out even more. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.